So what are rigid body constraints? Well, it's just a way to connect one or more objects together in order to make them interact in a special way. So let's go ahead and take this example with two spheres. You can see I have a sphere on the bottom here, and I'm just going to duplicate this. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach them together with a fixed constraint. Before we can do that, we have to add a rigid body to both. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my first sphere, click on rigid body, and I'm going to click on my second sphere and rigid body. Now they both have physics, so if we press play, they'll just fall. Now I need something with them to collide with, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a plane here and scale that up. And then I'm going to move it down below, and I'm going to give it some rotation like so, duplicate it, and I'm going to give it a little bit more rotation here. Now these two are going to be passive so that we can watch as our objects fall. So I'm going to go ahead and give those rigid bodies, passive. I'll give this one a rigid body, and I will give this a passive. Now, if we press play, everything should just fall right down on these planes, just like that. Now, everything seems pretty normal. Now, how do we actually add our constraint? Well, we can choose one or more of our objects. I'll just choose this top object. And you can see right here, right under rigid body, it says rigid body constraint. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm also going to collapse this rigid body modifier right here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the properties of our constraint. So you can see we have many different types that we can choose from. I'll be going through each one. We're going to start off with fixed because it's the easiest to explain. So fixed right here, make sure you have enabled and disabled collisions both checked, which they should be automatically. The next thing we're going to do is take a look at our objects panel right here, which says first and second. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and choose both of the objects we already have in our scene. So I'm going to click my eyedropper tool, choose this top object. I'm going to click on my second eyedropper tool and click on my second object. And now you can see this little transparent line, this dotted line in between these two objects. That means they're connected in some way. So let's go ahead and press play and watch what happens. Notice how they're connected in a way where they're sort of fixed to each other. Well, that's our fixed constraint. Now, in order to properly see this a little bit better, I'm going to go back to frame 1 here. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit so we can really see this roll off. Let's go ahead and press play. And as you can see, they're fixed together as if they were joined. And you can see how they're kind of moving along here. So if we back up, you can see that they're almost acting as one object. But what's really special about this constraint is we're able to actually select one of the objects and still have this have its own rigid body factor. For example, if we want this top sphere to weigh a lot more than the bottom, right now they're both 1 kilogram, I'll just go ahead and set our top sphere to 100 kilograms. Now let's watch what happens. I'm guessing the top sphere is going to go ahead and drop down faster. And to enable our random colors, let's see what our pink sphere does. Yep, and as you can see, notice how our pink sphere is now on the bottom. That's because it has much more weight than our blue sphere. So we are able to distinguish the different factors between each rigid body and adjust the weights of them easily. How cool is that? So if you wanted some sort of really interesting pendulum, you could easily create that with the following technique. So that is our that is our fixed rigid body type for our constraint. Let's go ahead and talk about our point type next.